Hello and welcome back to the Cinema Wave podcast. I am your host today, Vinny Albano. I am joined with my co-host, Mark Jacobino.
What's up, Vinny?
Hello. I'm very excited to be here. We are talking about JUJUTSU Kaisen, the Culling Games, Season 3, Episode 12. This is the last episode of this Season 3, Part 1 of the Culling Games. They have concluded this season with a epic finale. In all regards, this is a extended runtime of roughly under 30 minutes, and it is a epic fight within the Sendai colony of Yuta versus the four other opponents, which quickly becomes three other opponents in there. So we haven't talked to JJK, it feels, in a minute.
Yeah.
Because I think we missed an episode or something.
Yeah, we missed the conclusion of the Reggie and Megami fight.
Oh yeah, which we won't be talking about today, unfortunately. But that was really awesome too. I love that episode.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But let's just jump right into it. I want to hear your initial thoughts of this, and we'll take it from there.
Yes. So anime only here. I know you're the manga reader here. I was kind of blown away with what they were able to accomplish in 40 minutes from an all action standpoint. You know, they've pulled this off in other seasons, but the scale of this battle, the variance of the curse techniques being shown all at the same time, the fact that it continues to ramp up every minute that this fight goes on. You know, it starts very simple, and then we move on to going in and out of buildings. Then we have a three-way fight, and then we have a three-way domain expansion, and then the cockroach comes in and ruins the domain, and then it's all free-for-all. It's incredible what they're able to accomplish from an animation standpoint. Is kind of a miracle for weekly anime. I really think that they are just setting the bar for 2D animation worldwide. I mean, you know, even movie making to a degree, like they're still pushing the boundaries that some animated movies aren't even getting this quality. It's really just, you got to tip the cap. They put out a trailer to hype up just this one episode, and it absolutely paid off. So really loved it. I'm so curious to hear what your thoughts are from an adaptation standpoint.
Yeah, and from an adaptation standpoint, I 100% agree. I mean, this episode was a banger. I still think the Yuji versus Higuruma fight is my favorite, just because, like, I love Higuruma as a character, and I love, like, the whole dynamic there, but when it comes to the action choreography and just the overall scale, this is insane. And I actually did enjoy this, maybe controversial opinion. In the manga, I enjoyed the Maki Zenin fight more. In the anime, I enjoy this more than the Maki Zenin fight. I loved this. And I mean, I thought Yuta was such a badass in this. You see that Yuta has, you know, we've always talked about his edge and his quiet edge. He's a soft, quiet kid, you know, he's a very nice person, but he has this darkness to him, and you see that come out in these fights. You know, he's a killer. And the way he I forget the name of the cockroach cursed spirit, the way he like physically eats him is awesome. The way he uses his ability with Rika going back and forth is really awesome. I love like the arm and him just doing like a Superman punch fly with the arm and all the above. I mean, Uro, or not Uro, the God, I don't know.
The cannon guy or the sky girl?
Yeah, Uro is the sky girl.
Okay.
The cannon guy, I don't know why I'm blanking on his name right now, but I'll get it in a moment. What they did with his ability is incredible. I mean, in the manga, this was very well choreographed, but here, this is like another level of, they took the ability and they amplified it. The scene where Yuta is dodging all these like laser cannon blasts on the street. Amazing use of also 3D environments mixed with 2D animation.
Yeah.
And it's epic. It's so cool and it's so explosive and fun. It's just all around the board incredible adaptation.
Yeah, was this like one chapter in the manga, or was this kind of extended like over a couple chapters?
So this was a handful of chapters
Okay.
in the manga. Yeah, it was a good chunk of time, and there was a rumor that came out which I believed that this would be like a 46-minute episode, which it ended up not being that long. But even then, when I saw that it wasn't going to be that long and it was going to be 30 minutes, like, damn, do they have enough time to do all that? But it didn't feel rushed.
No.
It actually felt very well paced and still epic.
Yeah, it did feel like longer than a regular episode, even if it wasn't too much longer. Yeah, I mean, Yuta, this is someone that we've spent a lot of time with. You know, he had a whole movie dedicated to him, and we saw him take on Geto one-on-one, and he beat him, but we haven't really seen him fully unleashed and fully mature with his powers because he's kind of been in the background for most of JJK. And the fact that we finally see him let loose against 4 special grades and see him beat them all is just what an amazing way to show how powerful he is.
Yeah.
And the fact that he steals anyone's curse technique. Like, that is a literal cheat code. Like, he's using the curse speech. He takes her ability to beat the beam guy. And that is just like anyone that he faces off against. Now you can just be like, okay, well, if he steals their ability, I guess it's through blood. I don't know, because Rika like bites her arm and that's how he takes it. I don't know how that ability fully works yet because they haven't explained it. But I love when they build up a character to be extremely strong and then they show it in a satisfying way. And I think this episode did that to the nth degree. The other thing I want to talk about with Yuta, with you, is that darkness you talked about, because he's a character that I really enjoy because I like that we don't know a lot about him. We think we know a lot about him, but we really don't. We know his trauma. We know that's why he's, the way he is. And we know that he cares about other people, that he's very empathetic. But there is that darkness, like you said. This episode starts with him cutting that one spirit down, like, and just walking away from it, like, aura, kill, walk by.
Yeah.
And his character design also very much feeds into the fact that he is a disturbed person to some degree, because he always has bags under his eyes. His eyes are always dark and drooping, but it's very in contrast with how he carries himself. Like, he doesn't kill these people at the end of the day. Like, he lets them live, but it's like, what is the darkness in him? Like, I want to know more about what is eating him alive. Is it the fact that he has Rika, this huge cursed spirit, following him all the time? Like, that could kind of weigh on him, and maybe he doesn't get a lot of sleep because of that. I don't know. I'm curious, where they go with his character, because I think we've only scratched the surface, and I hope we get a lot more of him. I know he's not technically the main character, but I hope we get a lot more with him.
Yes. I agree. I really do like Yuta, and I can't really comment.
I know it's hard because you read the manga.
Yeah, unfortunately, I cannot comment much. However, something to add on to that conversation is the alternate reality where there wasn't a rule. Yuji created the rule that you can transfer points. The alternate reality that rule doesn't exist. Does Yuta just straight up murder all of them?
Okay, true.
It's a good what if question, and I do think he would have. I don't think he's that guy to. He feels sympathy, but he's not. He's not one of your shonen protagonists who is overwhelmingly sympathetic. He's not a Naruto. He's not like a Tanjiro. He's none of that. He will kill you if he has to. And I love when he says, like, I will kill Kenjaku myself.
Yes.
I love that line. I love how, there's a podcast, I forget their name, but I believe it's a husband and wife who I always see on Instagram Reels.
Mhm.
And they're very analytical. And I love their video about talking about Yuta and the portrayal of masculinity within Yuta, because he is not traditionally this like hyper masculine figure, but he is still the protector, and he still has these very, he's not weak, he's not a coward, he's still very strong despite the way that many people in the story view him and the way he's designed.
Yeah.
And I love that. I love that he's like, no, I'm going to kill Kenjaku. There's something so menacing about that, coming from someone who, again, is not like this traditional hyper masculine figure, or traditionally not like a villain, or like a villainous design.
Yeah, he does have a villain design, and yeah, I agree. I mean, Gojo is the strongest, but he has that lighter side to him. He's very like jokey, carefree.
Yeah.
And he's attractive, which is like someone would say like that's like his manly quality is like women fawn over him, but like Yuta isn't that type of masculine energy. Like it's not that. It's more that protector role, like you said. So it's an interesting conversation. Again, I think I need to see more of him and more interactions with other characters to see that filled out. I don't know if they've read the manga or not, or they have more like context to it. But yeah, it's a cool conversation. I think that lineage of like the thing that I honed in on was like that lineage of like Gojo, Yuta, and Yuji. Like Yuji is the least scary of all of them. Like Yuta and Gojo are kind of on that level of like almost godlike, like Yuta has reverse curse technique. Like he can heal himself. He can't really die. Gojo, we saw him discover it and he survived. And they both kind of are very prepared to take life when they need to. Whereas Yuji, that doesn't seem like a line he ever will cross. And the time that he did cross it, he still regrets it. And it wasn't even him. It was Sukuna. He regrets it for that. I don't think Yuta and Gojo have that same mindset. So I think it's like that lineage is very interesting. And like the fact that JJK, those are kind of the three main characters, they've each had like an arc where they're the main character. I think it's a very interesting conversation that I haven't really seen with many other shonen, if any, of like different main characters split throughout and them all being the same lineage. I don't know. It's just like my thought, like very all over the place thought process, but I'm curious, your thoughts when watching like between those three characters.
Yeah, no, I agree. That's something I do really love about JJK is it does come with some critiques as well, because JJK, a lot of its powerful nature within its storytelling is how strong the subtext is, because JJK has some really strong subtext. We've talked about it in the past. There's a lot of commentary, there's political stuff involved, there's all this commentary and all these different things, and from what you pointed out, the perspective on morality and the subtext behind each of these characters, and the morality, and how morality is kind of like literally the foundation to the story itself, and like most stories. But what makes JJK different is that it's a shonen, so the magic system is based within a sense of morality and emotion, right? Like cursed energy literally comes from negativity.
Yeah.
So I do love that. However, the big flaw that I have with JJK is that they have all this and they don't really expand on it too much. There's all this beautiful subtext, but the story ends without it being completely fulfilled, in my opinion. Which then again, we haven't got there yet. I'm speaking from a manga reader perspective, and then again, I do think a lot of things will be extended in the anime compared to the manga. But I want to talk about Ryu Ishigori, which was the canon.
Okay,
man.
that's a canon.
He's
guy.
a badass. I love him. He's really cool. I don't know what's your thoughts.
Well, he reminded me of like a JoJo's Bizarre Adventure character. Like I
Yeah.
saw him when he was introduced. I'm like, that seems like a nod to that series. I think he is a good villain for this episode. Again, I think sometimes JJK introduces cool characters to fight, but I don't really get invested with those characters. I think Higuruma is an exception, and throughout the show they've sprinkled them in. I think the Sky Girl and then this guy, I think they're good for this episode for Yuta to fight. I didn't feel that invested in them, but I do agree that this guy was punching above his weight like throughout the episode. Like he kept getting up, he kept having new interesting ways of taking people out. The whole sequence with them in the tunnel, he boxes Yuta in by putting him in a tunnel and spreads him out, and then when he gets close, he thinks he has him, and then Yuta does the whole train throw it thing, and that was cool. So yeah, I the dessert thing was interesting, but I don't have too many thoughts about him.
Yeah, I agree with the point about his design looks a lot like Josuke. Okay. Pompadour, delinquent type of design. I just love the attitude. I love the attitude. I love the design. I love the poses. Again, very, very now that you brought it up, it actually is very JoJo-like. And I do like his conversation at the end with Yuta. That nice little, I'm not dead, type of conversation. I also don't really have much else to say about. I don't have much else to say about Yuro, who's the Sky Girl.
So I have thoughts on her because she's where I have a bit of a critique with this episode, and it's a critique that we've had all season. But her backstory gets kind of like introduced. That Yuta's clan, in his lineage, at some point they were the superiors to her clan, and she was an assassin, I guess, for them. And I guess at one point they took her name or something like that. I didn't really get all that because it was explained in like panels that were just like put in between the fight. And again, JJK has not found a way to just like condense things or present them more interestingly than just like text. Here's text. This is the exposition. And it's like, it's so lazy, especially on an episode where you have all this time and there's so much action. Like there could have been a moment where we just dive into her character a bit more. So I feel more invested, but all we get is her saying, your clan did something to me in the past, and that's why I hate you. I'm going to kill you. And then it's like, here's a black box with text. And it's like, okay, I now have to pause it, read this, go back to the fight, come back, pause, because then there's another thing of text. So that's just been the Culling Games, like, unfortunately. But that's where my critique of this episode comes from, because I think what is presented is interesting. Like, a lineage-based vendetta, like that's really cool, but we don't get anything. We just kind of resolve it and okay, great, got it.
Now you're gonna have all the angry keyboard warriors
you can't read. You can't read, dude.
Oh
like,
my god,
you can't read, dude. Like, what are you talking about? Like, it's not that hard to pause the TV show and read the paragraphs.
It's
media literacy. I think you're stupid. You just can't read. Just say you're dumb.
Okay, I do agree with you though. I think for me it's that the editing of that is really poorly done. Of how, because I do love this episode. It's just that like we're all our senses are overwhelmed with the action. This crazy action sequence. We're introducing 4 new characters, right? We have the sorcerer that Yuta kills at the beginning that was introduced. We then have Cockroach introduced. First time we're seeing Cockroach. First time we're seeing Ryu. First time we're seeing Yuro. So we're already being introduced to all these characters. With the narrator explaining each of them. And then in between the battle, we're having characters talk about their curse techniques and why this curse technique is countering this, as well, on top of the narrator also on top of explaining why the domain expansion was broken, all that.
Yep.
And then we have just black screen with white text. Boom. It's like it is insane and weirdly edited. It's so hard to process at that point. It's very poorly put. I think if it was honestly put at a different point in the episode, it would have been easier to process. But I do agree.
Especially if because they gave the little images of for the beam guy, like they gave the dessert table. You know, he has this motif of being full. Like, just give us that. Like, give us like a image of her as like a girl, like being like subservient to someone that looks like Yuta or like close to Yuta, like just something like that. And it's like, okay, got it, image done. Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, exactly. Visual storytelling, visual medium, show don't tell. Like it's very, very simple. I agree. Yeah. I agree. I don't have much to add to that, but I also do think that was probably the weakest part of the episode. I enjoy a lot of this episode. I really don't have much else to add, unfortunately. I would talk about key animators and all that, but every single moment in this episode is so cool. You know, I love when Yuta's like jumps onto the building and like runs across the wall and does like a flip in the air. Like, so cool. I love when he's dodging all the cannons. I love all the stuff with Yuro and her technique bending the sky.
I don't even know how you animate that.
Yeah, it's so cool. I love the Superman punch with Yuta. Everything, the domain expansion panel, that was the big one of like, how is it going to be animated? That was very well done. It's similarly animated to how the Mahito, Toto, and Yuji fight was, or that panel was adapted in season 2, where they just took the panel.
Yeah.
Like they literally split it up in 3s. So it works. It works that way. I like it.
Yeah. They changed like the art style to match the manga, which is cool. And they did the same thing when he put the ring on. Like that was more of like the manga panel than the Yuta in the show, it's a nice nod. My favorite shot, I think, was when he's in the grass fields or the wheat fields. Looked very like Kurosawa-esque, where he's like sheathing the sword and the camera's kind of like hitting him between the grass blades, and then the cockroach comes and it's like a sweet like kind of like cuts both of them and gets in his eyes. That whole like back and forth there was really intense. Like he's blinded, he has like maggots coming out of his arm, and then it ends with him literally biting this gross ass cockroach and blowing him up from the inside out. It was just like so intense and really just well animated.
Yeah, no, I agree. Do you have anything else to add, or do you want to talk about potentially the future of whenever we're coming back? We don't know when it's coming back, but
is this, a lot of people are talking. People are saying this is the best episode JJK. Is this top 3 for you? I know you already said you like the Higuruma episode this season more than this one, but is this top 3 for you?
Ooh, that's hard to say. It's definitely top 5.
Oh yeah,
for sure, top 5.
I agree.
I actually haven't been on the internet recently, so I don't know any conversation about this episode.
People are saying it's the best one. Well, people are saying that it's like the best episode JJK, which I don't agree with, but I wanted to kind of stir the pot.
I think it's valid for sure. I do think I enjoyed. It's just so much of Shibuya has that dramatic tension, as well as Hidden Inventory has that dramatic tension that unfortunately the Culling Games has been. I love the Culling Games in the manga. I do have flaws with it. I don't think it's as good as Shibuya. I don't think it's as good as Hidden Inventory. But I do love it, and I've loved all these episodes we've gotten so far. But unfortunately, the big thing about the Culling Games is it misses that dramatic tension that you have like in Hidden Inventory, where there's two best friends growing apart growing into two different people that neither of them recognize, and there's a beauty to that, there's a tragedy to that. Toji, right? Like Shibuya, the tragedy of Shibuya. I think I prefer that tragedy and that the dramatic tension that comes from tragedy. Compared to, here where it just is more of just a really, really cool, fun action. But it's definitely top 5. because of how well done it is. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree. I need more from like the character work than what this episode provides. It's definitely a spectacle, but I agree. I can't put this over anything from Hidden Inventory. I can't put it over the episode where Gojo gets sealed. Like that episode was incredible. I can't put it over the Nanami episode in Shibuya where he dies. Shibuya, I mean, season 2 was just like, that was insane. I don't know how they did that for 24 episodes. Or was it 28 episodes?
It was 24.
20.
Yeah.
I don't know how they did that for 24 episodes. It was just incredible. But yeah, I agree. Top 5 for sure. But personally, for me, I think there's just stronger character work in other fight episodes.
Yeah.
Especially with Higuruma this season.
Yeah. No, I agree. So, last thing we'll talk about is just the future of this. We have no idea when it's coming back. Gashizano is supposedly not coming back. His contract ended, unfortunately, which he's been an amazing director in this season.
Yeah.
I like that we see a little bit of glimpses towards the future. We see a little Kashimo.
Yeah.
We see a little bit of other glimpses of some other future fights to come. Well, I don't know. I know what happens.
I know.
So I'm really kind of trying to get some thoughts out of you here.
Yeah, all pressure's on me. So
Yeah.
it was Sakari and Kashimo in the kind of sliding car, right? Up in the air, it looked like. Yeah, so they've already met and they're not fighting, so like they're talking. So I'm interested in what that conversation's looking like. Megumi and Angel, obviously Angel's a huge piece of this puzzle. Megumi's kind of like on death's door, it looks like at this point. Angel's flying him out, so that's interesting. We get a glimpse of like fully formed Sukuna, like with the eyes, all the arms. So that's interesting. We see Kenjaku is underwater somewhere, which that's also like, okay, what the hell's going on here? He has the prison realm with him. We did tease the council that he talks to, like the broader political stuff going on with Kenjaku and his plan. So that's all kind of ruminating in my mind. I'm kind of forgetting other characters that they show, but those were the ones that stood out to me. So yeah, I really don't know. I know you said that there's the Kashimo and Hikari fight coming up, so I'm really excited for that because Kashimo looks like someone that is on a different level. So I'm very curious how that plays out. And yeah, there's a lot of hints to Kenjaku's plan that we've heard throughout the season, I think to the detriment of how this season explains things. But I do want to get there. I'm very curious, what his end goal is, because it's not as simple as everyone kind of thinks it is. They're like, oh, we just started the Culling Games to increase cursed energy. It's like there's got to be more there. Oh, and then Tengen and Choso and the girl, Yuki is her name, the dragon lady. They're all just like having tea together. So I'm like, okay.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, interesting. But that trio I'm very interested, like who is going after them, because that's a pretty intense trio to fight. So you got to send someone big. Maybe Kenjaku goes by himself. Maybe he goes. I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. I got a lot of thoughts.
Yes, yeah. I'm excited. I am excited because there's some cool stuff coming up. There's some cool stuff.
Yeah, so is Culling Games Part 2, you think the end of the Culling Games, or you think there'll be like a Part 3 and 4?
Yeah, it's hard to say with the pacing. Because there's been moments where they've extended. I'm thinking we're gonna end at Part 2 if we have another 12 episodes, and that will be it.
Okay.
But they could do a Part 3 depending on the pacing. It's so hard to judge, honestly.
Okay.
I think if it's Part 3, another 12 episodes, like 36 episodes would be too much. That'd be way too much. Especially seeing how much they adapted within season 2 and how many chapters were covered there. And in season 1. So I'm saying it ends at the end of these next 12 episodes, whenever they come out.
Yeah, so. 2027 probably end of the year, maybe 2028, like beginning of the year.
Yeah, which it's gonna suck. But anywho, do you have any more thoughts or?
No, I think we could do our scores because it's the end of the season.
Oh,
do you want me to go first, or do you have a score?
You could go first. Yeah.
Okay, I think I'm gonna give this an 8 because I would consider Shibuya like a 9.5 or 9. So I can't give this anywhere close to that because I think Shibuya just clears this by a mile. Season 2 as a whole just clears this by a mile for me. But I think there are some really strong moments in this season. I think from a directorial standpoint, like the season kind of leveled up JJK even more. It's the amount of techniques they fit into the season is so impressive and really just like pushes the medium forward. But my criticism for the whole season has just been they have not been able to deliver information in a condensed way or in a particularly interesting way in a lot of these episodes. And I think it kills the pacing and it kills just like the interest in the narrative, unfortunately, because it's so convoluted and complicated. At some moments, I just didn't even know why we were doing things. We were just in places fighting people, and I was like, I know we have to get points, but I don't really get why. If we didn't have these conversations, I'd be lost. I'd be like, I don't know what is really happening here.
Yeah.
So I think in that standpoint, I have to give it a lower score. I can't give it a 7 because it's not bad, and 7's not bad. But I feel like I gave like Solo Leveling season 2 like a 7.5, so I can't give it Solo Leveling levels number. So I'll go with an 8 for this season.
All right, awesome. I'm gonna give Culling Games a solid 9.
Nice.
I have literally the same talking points that you have. You know, JJK has this problem of not, you know, exposition is not being told in an interesting way.
Yeah.
I've seen literally probably hundreds of animes at this point. I've seen hundreds of movies and hundreds of TV shows. There are other ways to tell exposition to your audience that is more interesting. There is. It's just as simple as that. If you know JJK, you know, I understand the hype train. I'm also on the hype train, but like it really is. It is a objective fact, honestly. I don't even think it's an opinion. So that is my big critique. But I just, the reason I give this a 9 is because I think I gave Shibuya a 10 actually, and this is just right below it. You know, this is a show that every week I am looking forward to, and nearly every single week we've come to this table, or I've texted my group chat of friends, and I've been like, whoa. This episode was so good. Like, this is so fun to watch. I love these characters so much, and this really is like a amazing point in the story that is just all out action. All the characters are involved, or at least all the big players are involved, you know. And it's great to see. It's great to see.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, I'm sad that we're not gonna have JJK conversations for a couple of years now. I mean, we really don't know when we'll be back in here to talk about this show, which is sad.
Yeah. No, I agree.
And you'll have to wait for me. I'm literally like for 2 years. I'm just like this. I'm not gonna have anything to add to the conversation because I don't plan on reading the manga, so I'm just gonna kind of be sitting around hoping to not get things spoiled for me. But yeah, maybe I'll have some theories come up that I can run by you.
Yeah, yes. I would love to hear them, and also to you, our audience at home. Comment down below your guys' thoughts. If you haven't read the manga, comment down below your theories. We're going to continue this discussion down in the comments below. And that's going to be it. We're going to wrap it up. If you like this video, again, like I said, comment down below. Let's continue the conversation. Like and subscribe for more content. We have so many other reviews. We're covering Invincible week by week. The Boys is coming up. We're going to be covering that week by week. We were covering so much upon TV and movies. And we have other similar content on our other social medias, all linked down below in the description. It has been I, Vinny Albano.
I've been Mark Jacobino.
And we'll see you guys next time.
This is the culture.